memory, history, lineage, and ritual are very closely entwined.
Who am I? Where did you come from? What is your story?
The whole world is becoming one village, one small village.
Because I think if we don't know who we are, if we don't know where we've come from, how will we know where we're going? I suppose for me, it's where I would like to die. Where would you like to be buried? Or where would you like your ashes scattered, for example? Or where would you like to be cremated? I think a sense of land, you know, when I went back to India and I went back to my ancestral village, I actually grabbed a handful of the earth and this is it, this is the land, this is where my ancestors came from. And for me, I think this is where I would like to be buried. This is where my memories come from, this land, this landscape, and this entire concept that is Malaysia. My memories begin here, and I would like them to end here. This country inspires me, and as long as it continues to inspire me, this will be home. When this country stops inspiring me, that's when it's time to leave.
I think race is a construct, and it emerges from a very deep need for human beings to belong to some kind of tribe or community. A sense of belonging, essentially, that comes from deep insecurities. Human beings, I think, suffer from deep insecurities and are just unable to deal with very great complexities into which they are born. This, of course, over the centuries and centuries has taken on very rigid and determined contexts. But I think essentially everyone is a complete cultural and social bastard, and that we belong everywhere. And we spend so much of our lives convincing ourselves that we belong to only one place. It's safe and it's secure, but I think it's when the world becomes incredibly reductive.
Racial stereotyping in Malaysia becoming worse compared to before. Based on my observation, lately we can say that there are a lot of arguments between races in Malaysia, especially between the Malays and the Chinese, especially. We can see, for example, I mean, in this coming general election, where the politicians are raising some racist, what we call that, racist issues that playing with the sensitivity of the people of Malaysia. So, which is, I guess, it is a big no-no for us as the people who live in Malaysia. We live in harmony, you know. But for my point of view, since I'm a mixed blood, my dad is a Malay and my dad is a Malay and my mother is Chinese. So I don't feel awkward or discomfort when I go and visit my relatives, my family, which are still which they are still Chinese and converted into Muslim, and even they come and visit us, so we don't feel awkward because we born as a family. To share my experience as a mixed blood person, born in a mixed blood family, there are Indians in my family too, which is we are so special, and we actually my family celebrate all the celebration, all the festivals Raya, Aidilfitri, Chinese New Year, like Deepavali, and Christmas. We celebrate all. So we feel Malaysians because most of the major races are in our family.
There are no policies at all to protect Malaysian Indian as a rightful citizen, which we already stay in Malaysia for 4th generation. We are still living the same. No development in socio-economic, socio-economic development, no educational development, nothing. So we hope new policy to replace the old policy. I mean the social contract, I mean the NEP, new economic policy. We must replace them.
What do you think is wrong with those policies?
The policies are much more favor to one race, which it brought inequality to the races in Malaysia.
I think we haven't really dealt with these issues. This is why Malaysians are very confused. We're a very confused nation. We are concerned primarily with race because, again, it hasn't really been dealt with. You know, are you Malaysian first? Are you Chinese first? Are you Indian first? Well, actually, we're all of the above. You know, we are Malaysian, but at the same time, we are this, and that. But at the same time, I'm not condoning a sense of homogeneity because we are very distinct. We have distinct cultures, languages, traditions. It has to be inclusive. At the same time, we have to know why we are being inclusive. We have to be able to understand. And I think we are fragmented now as a nation. And because it's politics. Politicians do this to us. They want to create fear. And I think Malaysians are also very afraid. We are afraid of ourselves. We are afraid of the other. We are afraid of our Chinese neighbors, our Indian, schoolmates, because we don't know. And I think we need to know, and it's very difficult to be able to cross these barriers that have already been there since the beginning of this country.
To me personally, in my own experience, I'm mixed blood. My mom is Malay, my father is Indian, and I tend to look a bit more like Indian. So they always, the public always think that I'm Indian, maybe because the way I dress up, sometimes because I don't know where to go and everything. So sometimes they just assume that I'm Indian, and I'm in an environment where nobody treats me differently. But when I go outside somewhere in certain areas, yes, sometimes they do treat me like I'm a second-class person just because I look like Indian. It happens. When they know that I am Malay, then suddenly they change the way they treat me. So I guess there is racial stereotype in this country still. But I think that generally we don't have to, because now the generations today, they don't see race anymore. If you are friends with any culture, any races, any culture, we can just sit down and just, as long as we can click, we can talk about anything. The race doesn't matter.
I believe that, and this is just my personal view from a religious standpoint, that privileges should not be based on your ethnicity. I did not have this view a couple of years ago, and this is quite a recent view because I've just learned the Quran. I've just learned to read the Quran and the practices of the Prophet, his life before. So I found out that there were a lot of things that me as a Malay was doing in the name of Islam, which was not at all the Islamic practice. And because of that finding, I have a different view now from what my culture, what I was born with culturally.
What do you think now?
Now I believe that race should not be an issue from one man to another. It's unfair, honestly, to base a person based on their racial background. It's as simple as that.
for me, you should go to the very basic, the fundamental of your life. I mean, your parents have to teach you since you are small that you have to make friends with the Indians and the Chinese or other races. They are your friends, even though with different religions, but they are still your friends. I got my best friend is Singh, but we are best friends somehow. Yeah. And then the solution is, it is yourself somehow. You have to educate yourself, even though you face or you're openly, what call that, you can easily get distraction from the public or from outside, but the main point is you have to, what we call that, it is back to yourself somehow.
So do you have any possible solution for this problem?
My own opinion, if you give me the chance to fix things, I would say that don't look at the color, don't think about your culture. Okay, you practice your culture, but do not feel that that person is different from you just because the culture and the race is different. You can still do something similar together. You can still go out and hang out together. Maybe watch football together. Everyone united through football. So stop looking at the person based on their race, culture and color. Just take that person as that person is, and find similarities. Find a similar ground where you can mix and mingle around without thinking about all these racial stuff. It's just about, we are in a multiracial country. We live together, so why don't just do things together without separating each other?
I think there has to be a lot of synergy between different players or different key players in building a community. So you've got the government that needs to play a part. You've got communities that need to play a part. I think awareness is the biggest thing. Get yourself educated. Get yourself thinking about what kind of Malaysia you want in 50 years, and whether or not how you live your life today will get you what you want in 50 years. We need to think about giving people access to information. Like it's very simple. You can look at any one community. If you single out a fisherman community, if you want to keep fishing for the next 50 years, can you keep doing what you're doing now? Can your people or your community or your government or your country keep consuming or carrying out doing things the same way we're doing now? It's really about thinking about the future, thinking about where we want to be in 50 years, how old you're going to be in 50 years, how old your children are going to be in 50 years, and being aware of what that means to you as an individual and what that means for your people.